So today I'm so excited to have Saba with us, and who is an yoga expert and a prenatal and postnatal yoga expert and postnatal body healing expert and pelvic floor healing expert. So she has over 16 years of experience in practicing yoga, over 8 years in teaching yoga, and specifically prenatal and postnatal yoga, and use yoga as a pathway to heal the postnatal body. So really excited. So I will be short, and I want to turn the platform to Soba. Maybe you can start with a little bit of self-introduction. Tell us about your journey of practicing and teaching yoga, and especially related to prenatal and postnatal body healing.
Well, thank you so much, Grace, for having me here. It's such a pleasure to connect across, like you're in London, I'm in Dubai, and I'm absolutely excited and happy to share what I love about yoga. About me personally, I grew up here in Dubai, UAE, and if you ever heard about Dubai, it's a very diverse melting pot. Everybody from different countries, they live here. And such a beautiful geographical spot where you end up traveling easily. And India is so close to me, 3 hours travel. So life took me in circles. When I was in college, I went to the States to study, and I went to study to get a certification, but I ended up finding yoga there. And I knew when I was in the States that one day I'm going to go to India to study. So things changed. I finished I graduated, I came back to Dubai, and my heart remained with yoga, because from that first class I've tried of yoga, everything just changed within me internally. So I kept chasing that thing that's called yoga. And my understanding at the time was limited, but I kept looking for some kind of methodology to help me connect and know who I am, what am I doing here, what is this yoga thing. I wanted to learn more and more. So that's when I decided to take the leap of faith and relocate and live in India and study yoga from the source. So that's been one of the best times, because I got to meet some amazing people. I got to learn about what really yoga is. I went with the mentality that yoga is about me, doing just physical postures, asanas, but then something shifted within me mentally, emotionally, bringing those elements, the yogic elements, which I wasn't aware of at all. And it became now part of my life after over a decade of practicing yoga. Without thinking, I am in that kind of mental state. So yoga definitely changed my life. And the whole time, my purpose of doing yoga, I thought, is for me to stay healthy, fit, be zen all the time. But then the result of just everything got crowned with the practice of yoga when I became pregnant. And it became clear to me why I've been doing yoga for so long. Because all the practices that I've done, all the meditations, all the work, all the spiritual work I've done just prepared me for that moment when I found out I'm pregnant, and how it carried me through my pregnancy. I look back and I was like, how did that happen? Because I was so aware, I was so in my body. It was my first pregnancy. It was my first birth experience. Everything happened naturally because that was the only way that made sense to me. And then I realized later on that was not everybody's experience. And when I look back, it's thanks to the yoga practice that I was in my body, because pregnancy is a physical experience. You feel the baby in you. You want to know what's happening in your body, those changes. And that was just amazing. And when I felt I'm lacking in areas, because pregnancy is new, I'm a new mom and new things, then I knew where to go ask and who to trust, because you're just suddenly so in tune and with your intuition. I just knew who to go ask. So I ended up having a beautiful support team where I was with people who are like-minded. And I had the labor and birth that I was looking for, and things were good. And postpartum came in so handy as well, because I understood that my body is changed. I need to take it slow. I need to know how to recover. And only by doing yoga, I recovered. I shed all the weight. I went back to my, I could say, normal body that I'm happy to be in, and comfortable and healthy, energized to be there for my baby, who's 3 years old now.
Fantastic.
Oh yeah. That's been yoga with pregnancy and postpartum. So that ignited the passion. I was like, if I can do it, and once you experience it, it becomes part of you. So I was like, if I can do it, I want to share this with other women and tell them that you also can do it to the best of my abilities, of course.
This is
Yeah.
wonderful. This is wonderful. I know you mean we all want to get back to our prenatal body, right? And but it's actually like common understanding it's not that easy, right? And lots of mommy have problems. For example, maybe have a mummy tummy, like tummy not going back, or the weight, simply putting on weight and not be able to shake the weight off. And maybe some women have pelvic floor problems. Can you tell us a little bit about kind of the common problems you have seen other women they have, and how can yoga really help women kind of overcome these problems or even prevent these problems when they're pregnant and heal them as well postnatal?
So I will start with the common problems that happen during pregnancy. Like maybe the pregnancy will lead into them if the woman is not really aware and taking care of herself. The common thing that's going to happen in postpartum because of the recovery, the hormonal imbalances, the sleep deprivation, the breastfeeding, all of that, anxiety and exhaustion. And that's for me comes in the beginning and the very importance, because once that happens, it will affect her body. And when it affects her body, she will move into chest breathing, her hormones will go out of balance, she will go into fight and flight mode. What happens when that kicks in, then all her blood flow, all her energy will go into her limbs because she's like in that anxious mode. And then what happens to the digestion, to the glands, everything will slow down. And then the weight gain happen and she wouldn't be able to shake off that weight. So that's very important. And the mothers who don't take care of themselves or they don't give priority to, because it becomes all about the baby, that will end up happening. It's important to take that 20 minutes a day, do that breathing, do that yoga, do that exercise. Another problem that's of course very common and it's very normal and natural is the overstretched abdominal muscles. Then so the weak core, the lower back pain, because everything is just get opened up, you know, just hosting that beautiful baby, and now it will take time to go back to normal. So with care, with gentle practices, everything goes gradually, you'll be able to close that back in. A common problem that happens because of imbalances and asymmetry, like not sitting in a correct posture, not walking with awareness and like, you know, just balance kind of walking is the pelvic problems in the pelvis. So the pelvic girdle pain, that pubic joint at the front is gonna be stretched because of the hormones. So if the woman is not aware how she's sitting, how it's moving, all those ligaments will soften and will cause kind of sensitivity and pain. And that can carry for postpartum, because in postpartum the same hormones will be released and the same effects. So if she's not aware of that base of her body, then that's a problem. So with yoga, we can bring awareness to that. We can bring that strength and that stability. Another important issue can be kind of mixed up. It's like you can think of the sacroiliac joint is the joint at the lower back. So a lot of women say, oh, I have a lower back pain. But sometimes it's really important to differentiate that it's a joint pain, not the lower back pain. And that's a very common problem in women. So we also take it slow to allow that joint to heal and stabilize. It's very important. Also, it can be kind of mixed with the sciatica. Sciatica is very common because the muscles, they get shortened, they compress the nerve. So that's one of the really common problems. And yoga is really important here to stretch those muscles, to heal the body at a gentle pace, yeah? Because you want to avoid pain, but also you want to work with the person to their own level. Is it acute? It's been there for a long time. That's very important. The big one, which is a very common one, is the diastasis recti, the muscle separation, which is the mother herself, she can find out if she has a separation. So we work on deepening and strengthening the core, the deep muscles in the abdomen to bring everything back, and it takes time. With consistency and practice, It will come up gently, and we talk about what to avoid. Like you don't want to, for example, to sit up, so you don't want to aggravate that area. So that's important. The last thing which I see very common in women who come to my classes, they're not aware of their upper body. So they end up having kyphosis. Kyphosis is the term that shows the rounding of the upper body. So the shoulders come forward because of the weight of the pregnancy and then caring for the baby. Then the rounding happens and the neck comes forward. So that rounding of the upper body will compress and shorten the muscles of the front. Then the lungs will compress, and then the breathing will be shortened as well. And that will cause anxiety and many other problems. So correcting that, bringing that at early stages and just help the mother to be in that, it just brings positivity. You just now, if you're sitting and you open up, you'll feel your lungs expanding and just makes a woman already feeling positive and happy in her body, you know? So a lot of these problems, they can be prevented very much earlier, like even during pregnancy. Once the woman can hold her correct posture while standing, she knows how to sit with the feet on the floor, getting in and out the car in the right way instead of overstretching. All of that can be prevented easily. Just bringing simple awareness, breathing, being in that space where she's in her body, knowing what she needs.
Wow, wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, so it looks like we can start doing something using yoga when we are already pregnant, right? Watch out for the body posture and how we move our body gently. Maybe do some core strengthening exercise and pelvic floor exercise using yoga as well.
Totally. Right. You see, yoga, the earlier you start yoga, even before pregnancy, when you're pregnant and you start getting heavier, if you're already connected with your body, then you have the foundation. So you can adjust and modify. And if you have pains and aches, oh, this is what I can do now. This is what I can move. So you're in your pregnancy, you are set and you have a practice of your own. And then when you go into postpartum and all those massive changes or recovery happens, when you go back, you have already established that connection. Let's talk about the pelvic floor. Mm-hmm. Many women, like including me, you don't connect with the pelvic floor, the groins area, which is like a hammock kind of muscular structure that's holding everything up, which is so important. Because once that goes out of tone, if it's a low tone, everything will just drop. What's gravity?
I think that's like the last thing women will remember, to be honest. They're too busy, and by the end of the day, they lie on the bed. They're like, oh, I forgot my pelvic floor exercise.
But this is the thing, you don't have to remember them. You can just grow the habits. If you're picking up at your child, you're lifting your pelvic floor.
Right.
You program that muscle, just like, you know, we focus on the limbs, but then it's carrying everything up. You prevent many problems like leaking, all of that. Like you just hold that up strong. Yoga can do that. Learning the correct breathing to the pelvic floor. So when you establish that in your pregnancy, imagine the ease of the confidence that you're going to go into postpartum. For a new mother, you'll be probably, my God, what is happening? There's a lot to take in. But you having those practices gonna make you feel better. Like I can do things. I'm sitting here feeding my baby, or I'm doing something for myself. I know what to do now. If I have 10 minutes, I can sit and do something nice. It just makes you feel good, you know? So it's a whole package. It's a self-nourishing methodology that gives you the liberty and the freedom to do it anywhere and anytime. Definitely feels empowering, especially for a new mother who doesn't have time to get in the car, maybe go to a class or go to the gym, or things are very demanding. So you have this tool, it's like a survival kit. So it can help you stay balanced, healthy, strong, you know, because it's a journey that you need support with.
So you are saying it's actually quite easy to practice from home just by yourself. And once you have the knowledge and you have practiced, you have the toolbox, isn't it?
Yes.
That's wonderful.
Yes. Yes.
What about for the women, for example, they haven't practiced much yoga and maybe they're already in their last trimester, or maybe there are 5-6 weeks or 4 weeks left before they go into labor, and can they still start to do something? And postpartum as well, when is the good time for them to start? And especially for those people who are not so much into yoga, you know, throughout the pregnancy?
I would say, hallelujah, come in now. Because pregnancy is like the best time to start yoga, to be honest. The mother is already in that beautiful flourish space where she's like already gentle. She doesn't have an agenda. Always she's focusing is about labor, birth, health. And what is labor, birth? It's all about movement, breathing, sound. And that's what you're gonna do in your pregnancy yoga classes. So you're being introduced to yoga, the most beautiful time, it's a very gentle, very, very broad and very tailored way for the mother to come and feel safe and connect with her body. So there's no agenda, and then you're just like in a circle of women where everybody is going through the same thing. And then you're connecting with your breathing, you're sitting in silence, you're stretching the muscles softly, you are safe physically, mentally, and healthy. And if you don't have any kind of yoga experience, there's never late to start yoga. I had a client to start yoga at the age of 48 years old.
Wow.
And now she's doing headstands. So there's no limits. It's all in your mind. If you are pregnant, you are pregnant. Doesn't mean that you can't do anything. It's your baby is part of your body. So you're both gonna be moving together, and babies love it. They go quiet, you know, it's like a sling. You're just sleeping in a hammock and you're moving, breathing. When you breathe, your diaphragm moves up and down. And imagine that gentle compression into the womb with the baby end. That's like massaging your baby. And when you're strengthening your pelvic floor, you're carrying your weight, you're getting up with energy, you are moving, you're vitalized, you know. And that's what you need. When you're developing strength in your legs, that's what you need for your labor. And you can do that with yoga. Yeah.
So I have people asking me, they put on so much weight postnatal. They're like, is it like hormonal? Maybe I'm breastfeeding, my hormone has changed. And you talked a little bit about like because of stress and anxiety, and you just, you know, you have no time to look after yourself. But there are so many women who are suffering from this weight gain postnatal. Can you talk a little bit more about like yoga as a gentle approach, and how does it really work and how effective it is?
That's a very good question, Grace, because you want a quick fix. You want to lose the weight. People go into some kind of diet. Let's lose the weight. People go, okay, let's do this kind of. But then yoga will work gently, gradually, but long term. And then if you want to go technical, what happens, yoga is the only modality that focuses on breathing. What happens with the breathing, which is very underestimated, and we are in our daily lives, we're just superficially breathing here, then you are kind of like putting your nervous system under pressure all day long. So when your nervous system is tensed up, everything is tensed up in your body, your muscles, your hormones, your organs, your digestion, everything slows down. So the secret about yoga that it just works on your nervous system right away. We have two parts to our nervous system, sympathetic and parasympathetic. The sympathetic is the fight and flight mode, the adrenaline, like you see a lion and you run away. You need that reaction because you want to work during the day, but you need to balance it with the parasympathetic, which is relaxation. If one of them is kicked in all day long, then you'll just run out of gas, basically. But if the other one is also kicks in, you are in balance. Once this is in balance, the nervous system is toned. Nobody speaks about the nervous system. Then the glands are toned and your blood is cleansed. The toxins are shed. And then you have this vitality inside. You need less food.
Okay. So it's and like...
the water retention, everything, it just gets decimated with the sweat. And when you're stretching and when you're breathing, you're feeling good. So you don't need to eat much. So if you have emotional eating, if you have mood swings, all of that will get regulated. Yeah.
So yoga.
Yeah, that's what yoga does. It really comes down to that.
Yeah, I can recall lots of women, even myself, when life was kind of, you know, very challenging and fast-paced and difficult, and with a newborn, and you tend to, you know, just feel anxious and you know, and also lack of sleep all the time, and that will
Yeah.
put you into this
So there is no solution for the lack of
flight
sleep.
mode, isn't it?
Yeah. Like there's no magical pill that's going to heal you from lack of sleep. Sleep deprivation is hard. But then what happens in a yoga session or a mother that practices yoga, even for 20 minutes, you learn to enter the deepest relaxation, which can equal a few hours of sleep.
Oh, you really? Wow.
Yes.
So you're
And that, yeah, like
if a mom
the
is super
relaxation,
nervous and want to
meditation.
like eat a cake or something, we should slow down, focus on breathing, maybe practice yoga
Totally.
for minutes, and then we'll just,
Yeah.
you know, forget about the food and feel better and don't feel
Exactly, that's what it is. And you
okay.
will, once you relax and your nervous system is relaxed, what do you do during sleep? You are relaxing your entire functions, so everything else to kick in. So if you do that in relaxation, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, it's a practice. You will learn to enter that zen, that relaxation right away. So you don't need as much, at least you can keep your sanity for the care of your baby. So it is very important to take 20 minutes, 15 minutes, 5 minutes, even if you don't get the whole thing, but giving yourself a little taster is very important with yoga.
Okay.
To come back to your question about the postpartum and yoga, it is recommended, of course, you get clearance from your doctor, and for a vaginal natural birth after 6 weeks, for a proper yoga practice where you start gently, and for a cesarean 8 weeks.
Okay.
If you want to start very early, if you have an established yoga practice, of course, you're connected with the body, you can. Or with an experienced teacher, you work one-on-one, but it's going to be always about gentle breathing, just coming to your body, closing the bones, the ligaments. So it's very gentle and gradual because you want to promote the healing at this stage. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you talk about the difference between like using yoga as an approach for postnatal healing versus other postnatal body recovery practice? What might be the difference?
It's exactly what I spoke about with the breath and the nervous system. That's very important. And the second thing which I do personally in my yoga classes, I make sure that the student or the client take tools with them to practice when they go back home. So it's very empowering. And you see them, they start walking differently, they start doing it. The other day, I just had a client, she's been doing it with me for a few months, and she does with me twice a week, but now she's doing it every day on her own. She puts up the mat, and she feels confident in the movement. She's pregnant, she just feels very confident in doing that. Also, yoga, everybody have a misconception about yoga is about doing all these amazing things, but yoga originally was a therapy, so it's very much therapeutic. It releases the tension, the aches that carry the pregnancy. You have the swelling with simple movements. It also promotes, once the woman, she's connected in her body, she's in that empty kind of space, calm space. It promotes the connection between her and her baby.
Which is wonderful, which can definitely help with birth, I know.
Exactly.
And
You want to
postnatal
invite
as well
your
with the
baby.
bonding, yeah.
Yeah, that bonding, it starts that whether when we do sound breathing or we do a little bit of chants, just the mother, I see the mothers, they're smiling and they're talking to their baby because this is so important. Yoga is not just an exercise, it's emotional, it's mental. It is releasing your issues in the tissues, there are sayings says. So you see the person start going deeper and deeper, cultivating more of a self-connection. So it's not just listening to what everybody else is saying, it's listening to that inner voice within you. And it just really like genuinely happens from there. And of course, like we spoke about the relaxation, and it's all about also like going back to your true self. So you want to kind of release your inhibitions, and that happens with the breathing, the meditation. So the mother, when she's in labor and birth, she needs to feel free, right? So that happens in the pregnancy. In postpartum, she needs to come back to herself and feel grounded, right? And she wants to feel alive. So in postpartum, that's what yoga does as well. And she needs to stay positive and happy because she's nurturing this new human in her life. So that happens with yoga.
Fantastic. I know that we are going to have a workshop on Saturday, right? So it's more interactive and it's more focused on the doing. Can you tell us a little bit more about what's going to take place this Saturday?
Well, we're going to have a limited time, 40 minutes. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm going to just introduce basics of yoga. We're going to do a little visualization exercise where you learn to use the mind's eye to go deeper in your body. I'm going to focus a little bit of the pelvic floor. What is the pelvic floor? I might point out a few like boning structures so the woman feels what is the pelvic floor is. And then we just do a little exercise to tone the pelvic floor, work on those deep muscles. If she's pregnant, this is going to be safe for both. If you're pregnant, you can do that as well, so you feel also nice and you're doing something with it. And I'm going to talk about what is an aligned good posture during pregnancy and postpartum, especially in relationship to the pelvis.
Okay.
And some breathing exercises that they can take with them so they can practice on their own.
Good. So both pregnant women and postpartum women, they can benefit from the session, that like the breathing, the pelvic floor exercise, the right postures, right? So that's very, very useful session actually, though, so people can take away those tools and start practicing on a daily basis, which is wonderful. Okay.
I'd like to say that a postpartum body is just treated for at least the first year as a pregnant body. Because the hormones effect still the same, whether it's the relaxin hormone, the progesterone, all these changes. The mother is still soft, she still needs care. So her body will be dealt with as a pregnancy. So when she's postpartum, doesn't mean that she's going to go into rigorous exercise. So it's very much similar, the care and the attention and working with the breath.
I really, really like this, because I think most of women, you know, even in the States, people need to go back to work like so early. And after 6 weeks and they got the sign off from the doctor, they're like, I need to go to the gym. I need to lose my baby weight. I need to go back in shape, or, you know. Yeah, but it's such a nice concept. So you need to treat your body like when you are pregnant, 1 year after you deliver the baby, with the care, with the tension, and just really follow the body's needs and take slow pace. I really, really like it. I really, really like it.
You see, your body has been changing during pregnancy for the entire 9 months. It's really harsh on the body to expect it to go back in just 2-3 months. You need to give it at least 9 months to go back. Because also, it's not just the body has changed, the woman has changed. She has been transformed into a mother. So she's going through a lot. Breastfeeding, not sleeping, taking care. So imagine all that exertion, and then you add into that pressure. I want to lose weight. And then the mother will end up. I see a lot of times they end up injuring themselves, not feeling good, just collapsing, because you really need to grow. Like if you look at different cultures, like in India, the way they take care, that those ceremonies taking care of the postpartum woman, she just gave birth. There's a lot of rituals to nurture her, to take care of her. She's surrounded by women to take care of her, you know, taking her time. The first few months are very critical for her healing. So that's very important to honor. The way that she handles herself, especially in the 4th trimester, the first 3 months, is going to set up her foundation for the rest, the coming years. So if she focuses on her healing, then she's going to be stronger and stronger. As her baby grows stronger, I always like this analogy, she's also like a baby is going to go stronger with him or her.
Oh, I really like this analogy, yes.
Yeah. Yes, she is like, she's going to become like a baby. She's like nourishing this little infant, and she needs that care and that cuddles and that coziness. She needs to be in that. And as her baby starts walking and crawling, she'll also go back and transform into her own self, running back to work, going to her exercise, and yoga can be her friend along the way.
Fantastic, fantastic. I really love this. So I've actually asked all my questions here. Do you have any final thoughts or something before we open it up to the audience to see if they have any questions?
I think, you know, I was thinking about, I've been doing yoga for so long, genuinely not to brag, but then it became so part of me. And then I had to reflect, because I'm doing this work. How did yoga change and how did it affect me seriously? And there were 3 turning points that yoga came in handy. And I just saw it so clearly this morning. When I was 20, I wanted to use this as an example. Maybe I can inspire somebody. When I was 24 years old, I was diagnosed with polycystic ovaries. And I was told by doctors, friends, everyone, I'm going to be overweight and I'm not going to be able to have children easily, at least without hormonal therapy. and all of that. And at that time, that's what I was practicing my yoga, and I took my yoga seriously. I've never had overweight problems. I've never struggled with anything. And then when I decided to become a mother, I conceived right away at the age of 37. And I really believe that's because of yoga. And yoga just, it makes you more fertile. It's good for fertility. Because what happens when you practice yoga, also your mindset changes and even your food intake changes. So your body tells you, I don't want to eat this anymore. So you give up, let's say, sugars, or you give up junk food or things that were harming your body, you know? And then when the pregnancy happens, it led me, like, because of my yoga, I was so aware of what my body is doing. So that felt really nice and easy. So labor and birth, you know, happened. So that was like such a big blessing. I don't know without yoga how would I've done things, you know.
It's really life-changing, isn't it? Practicing yoga for you.
It was, and I can't understand how, or I can't even comprehend how it would have been otherwise. And then in postpartum, interestingly enough, because I was told the first 3 months you need to heal, and I was so busy with my infant, with my baby, that was my biggest lesson. After years of practicing yoga, I didn't do much yoga. I was a very hardcore yoga practitioner, so the first 3 months I didn't do yoga. And I'd like to share this here openly. I actually hit a wall, and I had blues, I had panic attacks, and I didn't do well. And now I look back, if I've done some little yoga, I probably wouldn't have suffered that much. So when I started building my yoga practice again, and I took it up seriously, things start settling, even with my breastfeeding, with my baby sleep. So the time that I gave it up, I saw the difference, you know? So I thought, when I looked at all of this, and even like for me, like leaving yoga, coming back to yoga, it's normal. We are humans, right? But you see the difference, and makes you really experience and value what you've learned or what you've been doing. So
yoga has made you a different person, more beautiful.
Definitely, yeah. We all like, we change, we learn, we grow, and that's how especially with motherhood.
Yeah, and also yoga makes you in control of things, isn't it? So you made what's impossible happen, right? So you never had weight problem. Even doctor was saying the otherwise, and you had your baby. I actually share a similar story because I had big abdominal muscle gap, so diastasis recti post my first, and I was really like doctor even saying after you finish family planning, go and have a surgery, something like that. But I just took in control. I really worked on my abdominal muscles and was able to close the gap. So it was opposite to what doctor said. And I think in the medical world, and it oftentimes lots of us tend to forget the power that we have.
Yeah.
In terms of, and in terms of getting our body back in shape, and also, you know, really get us into the kind of ideal person. You have the ideal shape, the ideal mood, right? We have, and yoga is definitely a very, very powerful way that can allow us to achieve that. And you are a live example. So
thank you. You see the goal at the end, that you want a happy person. You want to be a happy person. Happiness is contagious. You give it to the people around you. It's a win-win situation. If I'm happy, my son is happy, my husband is happy, my family is happy. So when you are not happy, nothing can be happy around you. So what are the means to reach what is standardized happiness for you? It can be yoga, it can be an outing, it can be a walk. You want to feel good, and our body is the gateway for that.
Definitely.
Like through your body, you reach that. If you're slouching and you're having excess weight and you're feeling heavy, you're not probably feeling good. But you work on that, you kind of rectify it, and you do something that makes you feel good, and then that's your yeah. I see a question here, I think.
Yes, so let's open it to questions, and feel free to ask us questions.
Sure.
Oh, Sobia said she can't hear us. She has left. Okay.
I think Varsha, she has a question privately. Okay.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah, let's open it to questions. And ladies, if you have any questions, feel free to let us know. So you can type in the chat box. And I'm really, really inspired. So we can take in take control of our body, of our, you know, pregnancy, fitness, and a postnatal body recovery, right? So even we may have various syndromes, maybe abdominal muscle separation, maybe leaking problem, maybe overweight, but these are all workable.
It's reversible.
You
need to believe it's reversible. It's very easy to go to somebody that tells you need to get a surgery, you need to buy this, you need to buy that. But then you're working on it, and then you're seeking the help that you feel that you need. It's very empowering instead of relying on somebody else to sort it out for you.
Exactly. Yeah, believing yourself. And also, I think another important takeaway is prioritize your needs, your happiness, because your happiness is kind of the light of the entire family. And also, like, you know, when you're stressed, this kind of stress is also contagious. So let's be the light of the family and bring in more happiness, more joy, more self-care, more self-love, right? So do not deprioritize your needs. And I see, including myself as well, like I was very bad at prioritizing my needs, and even until now, to be honest, because I have 2 young children. But
of course,
I always need to make an effort. I'm trying to make an effort every day, try to do that, right? So yeah, so we have some comment from Russia. Maybe I can read out. I have been, Russia said, I have been doing chanting, prana and walking, but doing yoga now wasn't allowed earliest. Saba, please guide for connection breathing. We'll have the connection breathing on Saturday, isn't it? And can you just throw a light in connecting pelvis breathing? Find it difficult to connect.
Of course, I understand what she's trying to ask. And it's perfect because I'm covering this on Saturday. I don't know how much time we have now.
We finished, so it's about 30 minutes. So maybe join us on Saturday, Rasha, to learn, because we're going to have an interactive session. So you got to work together. You need to prepare like a yoga mat and wear comfortable clothing. And we're going to do it all together on Saturday, right? So I don't want you to miss this session.
And I just want to tell her, wonderful, you are doing amazing by doing those chants and those pranayams and breathing. You are doing something good for you and your baby. So I will bring in the pelvis and the pelvic floor on Saturday session. It's really important. And I'm really glad that you asked that.
Great. And Avasha, would you mind tell us, are you pregnant now or you are postnatal? And how many months, if I can ask?
She's 35 weeks.
Oh, 35 weeks. Okay. Yeah. Congratulations. So just a few more weeks to go.
Yeah.
Okay. Wonderful. So
I want to tell her, Varsha, also, when she was told not to do yoga for the reasons, of course, yoga can be, if it's a normal yoga, but the yoga that happens in class is more about labor and birth, so it's very soft. Yeah.
Okay. So what you'll be teaching will be different, will be more in depth, right? Focus on different parts of the body and mind-body connection. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Great, wonderful. So thank you so much again, Sabas, for being with us. And it's a wonderful session. I myself have learned so much, and I can't wait to have the workshop this Saturday. And ladies, for the ones who are joining us live, and thank you again for your time. I hope you have taken away useful information and you will join us for a wonderful workshop, right? Doing yoga together, toning your pelvic floor, practice breathing, connecting with your body, with your baby this coming Saturday. And yes, so thank you again, everyone. And this session will be recorded, so I will be sending this out so you can watch the replay as well if you've missed certain parts. And that's all. So hope you all have a beautiful evening, beautiful night.
Thank you so
much.
And
we'll see you live this Saturday, okay?
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Bye for now.